G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to review this new piece from new company Rumoe, which is based in Sweden. Now this company was established in 2016, that's what they have listed on their history, with the goal of affordability and simplicity. They went through a Kickstarter and the first watches were released after a successful Kickstarter in January of this year, or in fact late December 2017. So this is really the first model watch that they have produced. So outside cardboard box, dark color, fairly simple, but take a look at this inner box. Now this is kind of what they call piano lacquer, and easily one of the best micro brand watches I have seen, I have to say. And it's so very solid. I mean, inside there's obviously going to be some sort of a wood, which I think it's either pine or maybe even MDF, but outside is pretty nice and solid, and it's got a push button release here and a nice kind of printing of the company name there and the push button release. So let's just open it up, and there is the watch inside. Nicely done case, right? Rumoe on the top as well. No manual included in this piece, which they have kindly made available, but you don't really need a manual for this watch. It is a very popular basic three-hand Seiko movement. So again, look at that great box there. All right, just put it aside and let's take a look at this watch, which is the Rumoe Nobel Royal. This model is NR001S for stainless steel. I think that's what that designation is. So the model references Alfred Nobel. So at first I thought it was Nobel Royal, but it's actually Nobel, meaning the name of the famous Swedish engineer whose name is given to the Nobel Prize, which is awarded every year in Stockholm, actually, in Sweden. Now this particular model is also available in rose gold and black dial variations, so 4 different variations as well as different strap choices. Take a look at their website if you will. The MSRP is $399 USD. But I think they're going to have to give out discount codes because you need to be a bit more competitive, and I will put down at least a 20% discount code down in the description if you want to use it to purchase this particular watch. So in here, the movement is the very widely used Seiko NH35A. So this movement you've seen in many watches on the channel before. 21,600 beats per hour, 24 joules with 41-hour reserve. It's got the quick set date. In this case, it's implemented on this window here, which is surrounded by kind of like a mirror stainless steel. So it's black writing on white dial. There's that quick set date there. It does have hacking, and it hacks in the 0 position here, and it also has manual winding, as you would know. This watch has a case which is 40 millimeters in diameter, 316L stainless steel. Thickness is 11 millimeters, and I've confirmed that with calipers. The lug width is 20 millimeters. Of course, you probably wouldn't expect anything else for a 40 millimeter watch. And the lug-to-lug length is a very modest 46.5 millimeters. Overall weight is 107 grams with leather straps, so it is nice and appropriately light for this watch configuration. So the case itself, the top surfaces are all polished. So if you look at the top surface of the lugs, right, the bezel, all of it's polished, but the side transitions into a fairly nice horizontal brush pattern, and that's pretty nicely done, I have to say. Now the case spec, interestingly, if you just take a look at it, let's see if I can get a nice view of it here. All right, so take a look at that case spec there. Okay, so Nobel Royal. It's got a nice kind of laser etching there of what they say is a Swedish king pointing towards the Church of Knights, which is, I guess, a symbol of Stockholm according to their description. It does appear to be a push-in case back or a friction case back fitting there. So there's no screw-in apparent in this. So that's most likely the case. Now the crown itself is also a push crown, if you take a look there. But it's got, again, an etching there, and that's kind of deeply etched there of the Rumoe symbol there. So push-in crown, friction case back. The water rating on this watch is 50 meter. So I would be doubtful about taking this into any submersion. I think it's really just designed for accidental splashing, rain exposure. That's really what you should, you should only expose this watch to that type of water, and not any more than that, I would think. Now, the dial itself, if you take a look, right, it's kind of a flat white, which is, I think, appropriate, an appropriate choice for this particular application. Applied steel markers all the way around and printed minute markings around that chapter ring. The hands are classic, dress watch Dauphine style hands. There is no lume, which is not inappropriate for a dress watch. I think, strictly speaking, a dress watch really shouldn't have lume, and they've chosen not to apply lume in this case. The bezel you've seen already. This is angled fixed finishing here, and of course it's not going to be a rotating bezel by any means on a dress watch. And the sapphire crystal on top, and yes, it is sapphire. Right. At first I thought it was flat, but actually there's a very gentle convexity there, which is a nice little touch. It's a slight dome, a very slight convexity on the sapphire crystal there. The band. So moving on. Right, take a look at the watch band here. So this is a kind of a stitch calf leather, so genuine calf leather strap. No actual, there's a Rumoe marking there, but nothing else on the other side here. And this is, I think, fairly nicely done. It's really, very comfortable, and the quality seems to be a little bit better than a lot of the base, $50 Chinese mushroom watches that I have featured before. The buckle, as you can see here, is a push-button release butterfly deployant, which is fairly nice. So let's just put it on for the wrist shot now. Okay, so there it is, the Rumoe Nobel Royal stainless steel 40mm watch on my 17cm wrist, and I think it wears almost perfectly, in terms of a dress watch. I guess ideally a dress watch, maybe even slightly smaller, but I like dress watches in 40mm size, and that's how it sits on my wrist there. Okay, so what have I enjoyed about this watch? Well, I think it's nice and straightforward, very honest, straightforward. It does manage to balance elegance, I think, with simplicity. And that's really their mission, their modus operandi here. And they're straightforward. They've said straight out Seiko movement, but it is based in Sweden. In fact, the postmark on the package that it came in actually was from Sweden. So that's where they stocked the watch. I think the finishing is pretty fair. Hopefully you agree with me. It's hard to convey that without having it in hand. But in hand, I think it's very fair finishing. Nothing much to criticize about here. It's essentially flawless as far as I can see. The strap is pretty good, one of the better leather straps that I have seen, right, in terms of comfort and what it feels like in terms of quality finishing. And not to forget this great lacquer box. I mean, yes, you don't really pay, you're not buying the box, but for what it's worth, this is one of the best micro brand watches I have ever seen. Right, so what has been, I guess, what are the weaknesses I can point out about this piece? I think the Seiko NH35 for $399 USD is hard to accept. I think you would hope that you go for some sort of higher grade movement, perhaps a Miyota 9015, for example. If you cut the price down 20–30%, maybe, but you're talking about massive competition, and that's what I'm most concerned about. For Rumoe, they're facing massive competition. I would like to see what else they come out with, and hopefully they will be able to sell enough to successfully implement a second model sometime in the future. It is very straight and simple. Some people may find this a little bit too simple. What could they have done? Well, maybe they could have done for a sunburst style, like a Seiko cocktail, for example, one of those nice bright sunbursts. That's a possibility. Also, you could have maybe changed the markers a bit, make it kind of a triangular sharp markers. Those are possible variations on the theme, but this is nice, simple, straight up. So if you want a dress watch like this is very nicely finished, in that design. All right, so that's my thoughts on this watch, the Rumoe Nobel Royal stainless steel. Let me know what you think, guys. If you have this watch or you have had your eye on this, let me know your thoughts, particularly about the company, about the design and direction they have chosen. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I put out new content weekly, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I will catch you next time.